So this is my friend's sofa. As you can see, it's similar to a chaise. It's high on one end and low on the other. I think it's gorgeous. The fabric she's putting on it is rolled up, and as you can see, it doesn't quite fit the whole length. So I'm going to have a word with her about a couple of problems that might be of an issue. But the first thing I need to do is remove the cover. It's going to be like doing an oversized armchair. So let's get on with it. I'm slowly taking all of this apart. The cat is studiously ignoring me. It doesn't matter how much I bang around on here, she is staying put today. A support here and here, so I will put staples to hold the bottom cloth, which means that I don't have to take the whole bottom cloth off. I'll tuck this underneath so it doesn't get damaged and I can't lose it. But I'm just going to slowly take the rest of the cover off. I will work on round removing more of these staples, and as you can see, Mum Pussycat is not fazed by any of this. I'm going to cut across the bottom here because I don't need that. I just need to get this up without breaking it all the way to the top. There we go. These are awkward to get back on. They need a little bit of TLC to get them off. You just ease your way around. And I'll do the same on the other side. I'm going to remove this, but I'm leaving the front border on. Now this is quite an all-over pattern, and we've decided to run it sideways or tram-lined because that saves me having to put joins in. I've put the seat cushion there just to help prop it up. What I was looking at is to find the centre of the pattern, and I can either use that line there as the centre or this line here. So having laid it out, I've decided to use this line as the centre between the two. Line that up with the outside edge there, which means I've got two patterns. I think this is the centre, and then I've got one pattern as I come into the outside edge here. Unroll that a little bit more. So if I use that as the outside, I need to cut this fabric up here, and then I have an equal amount either side of this piece. So I'm just going to cut in a straight line. I'm lucky I've got a pattern to follow which is quite well repeated. Usually I line my fabric like this to find out how much of the front border there is and where. I'm thinking that I would like the centre of this pattern here to be along the front border. And then I usually fold the fabric over to find out how I want it on the back. Because it's such an overall pattern, I'm not going to worry about where the pattern falls on the back. I kind of want that there because it's a pattern that could be used either way. What I might do is work out how far that goes underneath and then flip this around. So instead of having this underneath the front border here, it's actually the piece that's sewn into the seat base, and then this would be under the front border. So what I'm thinking of doing is cutting along here and basically turn this piece around. This is the front border, and all I've done is I've pulled the original front border down. It came over about an inch. That's quite normal. Cut a piece of Dacron to fit over the top, and I backstitched it with this edge here resting along the original seam joint between the front back fabric and the base here. That will hold. I'm going to pull this in quite firmly across and secure that before I put the front border on. I measured the whole length. It came to like 66. A half of 66 is 33. So I measured from one end, 33 was here, the other 33 was here. So line up between those two marks, and I want that to be the base. I'm going to staple this. It's a little bit shy, but it's going to be fine. Before I actually put this in, I found where the centre of the back is, and the back is going to just be pulled straight to the back. I'm not going to be doing it the same way. Usually I line up where the mark is there, where the front border joins. It's going to be a little bit further forward, so I'm going to do it this way. I think that works. All I've got to do is make sure that this is the same all the way along, and I'm going to just pull it out to the side and secure it so it looks even. Here's the centre. I'm going to pull this out so that the centre of the next pattern, which is here, is level, and pull it that way. If I pull all of that out, the top of the dog bone seems to be right on that edge. So that's how I've lined it up to make sure it's even. and I'll do it all the way to here. Make sure that's even to there and secure. It's a little bit narrow across here. The original is about 1.5 inches back. The whole idea is that when you put your cushion on, you can't see this fabric here. I'm going to mark the back and I'm going to pull that through to the center. I marked the center. What I did do was I took my bubble and I lined it up at the bottom, made sure the bubble is straight, marked it. This is all ripped up, and it will do the same to the new piece of fabric I'm putting it in. So I'm just going to put that over the top there. It's not going to stop it happening again, but it will help prevent the fabric not being quite so ripped up, hopefully for a bit longer. But I'm going to staple in between those as far back as I can. I overthink my projects. I'm going to just pull that down like that into place, and I will work my way across as I go towards each end of the sofa. Push some of that under there like that. The corner is right there, so I'm going to push that back to it. So I'm going to keep my fingers on there and pull it forward. Basically where my finger is, I'm going to cut in, and then I'm going to push it either side. I might need to fold it and trim it. Pull that out. The inside arm is right here underneath where my fingers are, and I'm going to cut in at an angle towards where my finger is, so that can be pushed under. I can pull this through and just check where that comes on that side. Take a little bit of that fabric out because I really don't need all of that under there, and then fold that and pull it into position as hard as I can and secure here. So along the side here, I'm just going to fold that over into the edge from the front there quite tightly and secure it, and then I'm just going to bring this in and down into place, and I'm just pulling it straight down. At the top end here, I'm going to cut this out, fold it in and pull it quite tightly and secure. Now I'll do the same on the other side. I'm cutting the piping and I'm going to cut them at 2 inches wide all the way across here. I would need them to be a little bit generous when I staple them into place. I'm going to put the piping together. This is the right side up and the right side down. Put it across like that, and sew from one corner to the other on the smallest stitch. Get to the end, face up, and the next one face down. Pop the piping cord in the center of the fabric. I'm going to bring it up about 1 inch because I'll be cutting some of that off anyway, and pull it round. Raw edges together. Pop it under there. Put it on the longest stitch, and I'm going to sew all the way down here. Separate the lengths from each other and cut the seams off to within 1/4 inch of the sewing, and then open it up like that. Put that across, make sure it stays open. Double check, because sometimes they unravel a little bit under there. And sew across. Make sure the piping is tight against the seam and sew across to the next one. I'm going to do that all the way down this length of piping. Along the front border, I'm just going to pull this into place like this and secure it. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to run the front edge along the front edge of the wood here. I'm not going to pull it too tight, but I'm going to pull it firm enough across so that it looks nice and even. So having done that, I'm going to reattach this underneath here. I'm going to do it as I go so it stays even. Although I put stabilizing staples here and on the other side here. I will end up moving it so I can pull the back of this towards the back of the chair so it looks nice and neat. It doesn't have to look perfect underneath. It's just that I prefer it to look even. I'll do this until I get to either end and I need to put the side in. By doing this as I go through the project, it just means that I get parts of it done. Thank you for joining me on this project. If you want to see more from me, please subscribe, hit the bell button, and a few thumbs up will be brilliant. And in the meantime, take care. See you later. Ciao.